Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Karsten Miller here from Difference Maker blog, coming to you live from the Dallas Cowboys studio / office, bringing you the YouTube clip for James chapter 1, Doers of the Word. We are talking about verse 27. We are talking about James chapter 1, verse 27. James, the book is like a test. It gives a bunch of tests. I call it James University of James, where Professor James gives many tests. And we have been studying, and we are at the part of the test that you need Jesus Christ to do. And we've discussed sanity versus insanity. And now James in this last verse shows you what pure and undefiled religion is in the sight of God. What is that? It is to visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction and to keep himself unspotted from the word. So what we pulled out were two things, a visible, and both of these things are actually visible. Let me go back and see. An honest, visible love for those in need in the world. And number two, a visible love that is not affected by the world. So, last time we talked about, first you had to understand, before you can understand what a visible religion looks like, a pure and undefiled religion looks like, you have to understand that Christianity is a solo lane when it comes to you pleasing God, and it's directed towards other people. So we got down and we talked about loving your neighbor, where your neighbor is that of the church and those in the world. We talked and we went through, and then we got into an honest and visible love for those in need in the world, and we began to discuss what visiting was. We had to understand what visiting is. Episkeptomai is the Greek transliteration that we talked about. And I'm just giving you a brief synopsis to catch you kind of up, because I know these are a lot of Bible studies and it can be sometimes hard to follow. So I'm trying to get your minds where you know where we at in this study. So we talked about how the Lord visits people, and we discussed visiting. Now we come to what that involves. An honest and visible love for others in the world, our neighbors, involves visiting the fatherless or / orphans, and visiting the widows. Here it is. James addresses the visible true Christian is to visit the most needy people in society. You can observe from the text that the fatherless / orphans and the widows are people that are without something. They have a need. Interesting thing is this: in the King James, it uses the conjunction kai in the Greek, while in the NASB it omits this conjunction clause between widows and orphans. But both stress the close connecting relationship of not being worldly and visibly showing true religion. Now listen to what Jameson feels about the absence in the NASB of the and. When it's transliterated, it says, so close is the connection between active works of mercy to others and the maintenance of personal unworldliness of spirit, word, and deed. No copula equals something that connects, therefore is needed. So basically, in either way that it in the translations, it doesn't take away from the context of these two things: visiting the fathers and the orphans and the widows, and being unspotted from the world, are closely connected. Closely connected. It's like you can't have one without the other. So, who are these groups that are of a great need? Well, one is the fatherless, or in some translations it says orphans. Now, the Greek transliteration is orphanos, and it means parentless, comfortless, fatherless. This is what you see where Jesus promised that he would not leave the Christians or the disciples comfortless. He said he would send the Spirit in John chapter 14 verse 18. It also is of those bereft of a teacher, guide, and guardian. Very interesting. You think that he's talking just about one group, but it covers a vast majority of people in the world today. Now let's look at widows. Let's look at widows. And I've tried to say this Greek word and say it right. It's chara. And it means just that, a widow, as lacking a husband. It could mean a widow literally or figuratively. It also metaphorically can mean a city stripped of its inhabitants and riches. In riches is represented under the figure of a widow. So the city that is stripped of its inhabitants and riches is represented under the figure of a widow. I'm sorry, I read that wrong there. Quote, to minister to orphans and widows is to be the hands, the feet, the heart of the Father. For as the psalmist records, a father of the fatherless and a judge for the widows is God in his holy habitation. That's Psalm 68 verse 5. Visibly helping the neediest group in society was commanded throughout all the Bible. This truly manifests the compassion and mercy of God displayed upon men. Now, you can notice that, again, when I read those two transliterations, you notice that they were missing something. One was missing a husband. One was missing a father or two parents. They're lacking something. They're missing something in their life that they need. Are you seeing it now? Are you seeing it now? So you want to have a visible and true looking religion, you're going to visit those who are what? Lacking something and have a need. Do you see it? Do you see that? That's very important. That is very, very important. Because that shows if you're really a true Christian. Now, some of you may see me on Facebook and you may see that I put up scriptures. That don't make me a Christian. Oh, or if you get on Facebook and you can argue your points and your belief systems, that don't make you a Christian. Because you do YouTube clips, Karsten, it doesn't make you a Christian. No, real, pure, and undefiled religion is what? Visibly seen. And that's how it's visibly seen. You help those who are lacking something. And how do you do that? You ain't going to do it unless you have Jesus Christ. And here's where the test gets really deep. Because we say, well, I give money to the poor. Somebody who's lacking something. Let me put it to you this way. Somebody who doesn't have good teaching. And they always coming to you. See, your visible Christianity is going to what? Visit them. Do you see that?